Hello everybody, welcome to my Suburu channel. It's my Suburu WRX 2004 model year 01. Anyway, I'm just making an unboxing video of a new product out in the Subaru world nowadays. It is currently September of 2019, and my personal vehicle, my motor itself, is having issues with cylinder 4. Last time I did a compression test, it tested at 150 psi in cylinder 4 and 170 in 3, 2, and 1. 170, which is really puzzling me. I did buy my car from the original owner, and I do have all paperwork from that original owner. It has a clean title, was an unmodified Subaru WRX 2-liter when I bought it. It's now clearly not unmodified anymore, but yeah, it was unmodified. So anyway, the fact that I have the 170 on the other 3 is not what's troubling me more. So what's troubling me is the fact that I have the low compression in 4. Recently there has been a release of a lot of new information in terms of the coolant flow of our motors, or my motor, EJ 205s, 257s, 207s, whatever you may have. So get a Dom tune, Dominic Acia, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Anyway, he put a video out, as did somebody else I saw on YouTube. The Subaru only channel, they put a video out, or he put a video out, explaining the fact that the coolant flow in these motors is not sufficient to feed cylinder 4. And so because of that, there's a product that's being produced by Get a Dom Tune, as well as one other person, that basically allows coolant to flow differently, and it's called a reverse cooling mod. It isn't so much a reverse cooling flow. It's not like you're, all of a sudden getting your hot coolant, out of the lower radiator hose and cold out of the top or anything like that. But what it is doing is helping cylinder 4, which was getting a little bit. It's also, well, cylinder 4 in Subaru is especially in model year. Sorry. Model year 02, 03, etc. What's the word? It has cylinder 4 is set up as such so that it can be the signal giver for our motor. So there's a knock sensor, only one knock sensor on a 2002 WRX. Actually, from what I know, all the way up until 2019 STIs. When they went away from the EJ and the WRX, they got more knock sensors. I believe there's 2 in the FA now. But there's only one knock sensor on an EJ 205, meaning that it needs to be positioned someplace where it's going to catch the issue of knock, or the sound that's being made, and possible symptom of damage coming. So they place it on the 4th cylinder, and then they tune the map so that the 4th cylinder is the most aggressive, as described better by Dominic Acia and Get a Dom Tune's explanation of this modification. But anyway, so as to make that cylinder problematic, if you will, sooner than 3, 2, or 1. So if you hear knock, or if the ECU rather hears knock, then it's hearing cylinder 4, because cylinder 4 will fail first. Is the thought, I believe, if I'm saying that right, because it's just tuned to get a little bit less fuel, a little more timing, and now that we know this, a little hotter coolant. So here's our reverse cooling mod package. I just got this in the mail. Today's Saturday. We're going to go ahead and open it up, see what's inside. Thank you, Dominic at Get a Dom Tune, for your write-up and your fast shipping. I ordered this on Wednesday, and here we are Saturday with my reverse cooling mod. Check it out, it's beautiful. I opted for the stainless just because I should have, and you should too. So essentially, let's go over here to this model year 05, EJ 205. This motor has a spun rod bearing, or has suffered a spun rod bearing. It's a motor I'm going to be rebuilding here shortly. But I just wanted to take this opportunity to show you exactly what this reverse cooling mod here does, and where it goes. So let's try to get a little better orientation here. So this will help you kind of picture what we're looking at. There's a EJ 205 right there. Here's your crank pulley. Here's your passenger side intake cam, passenger side exhaust cam, driver side intake cam, driver side exhaust cam. If you look at the back of the motor, so crossover pipe for coolant, hot coolant exiting the block here, hot coolant coming up from your oil cooler right here. Here's our crossover pipe. Now back here, not on this side, where cylinder 4 is at, on this side, that right there, if I believe, no, sorry, this right here is your exit for your coolant going to your turbo, and this is for the oil that is returned to the heads from the turbo, not to, but returned. Over on this side, there is no exit, so essentially the coolant isn't coming out to the side, it's coming up, and that's it. It's not getting to exit here. So what this modification piece will do is thread in to the block right there, allowing me to tee this T up to the heater hose where coolant is flowing. I believe, yeah, no, not into my, wouldn't go into my core. I'll be wanting to tap into the return from my heater core. But anyway, yeah, so return from my heater core is where I'll tap into that, meaning that I will return the coolant to right here. So it'll be teeing, boing, up to there, boing, in this motor, in this, this block here. So I'll be going down somewhere right around the region of down in there, which is where that Allen key plug is. Removing that Allen key plug, placing this in the back of the block, and then teeing it up to my heater core hose, which is going to be the return hose of, that's gonna be this. So into this hose right here, allowing the coolant to flow better through the entire motor. In my case, this is a dollar short, day late kind of situation. I've already got low compression in cylinder 4. However, I don't plan on selling this car ever, so I just won't sell it. It's my car, and I love it, and I won't sell it. So regardless, I don't care if I'm my day late dollar short, really, because I'd rather be a day late dollar short than 2 days late $2 short. And if I can save this motor a little bit longer so that I have more time to build that one, so be it. I'll transfer this over to that one when I'm done, etc., etc. But anyway, this is more than a cool modification. This is an intelligent modification. It's similar to what Killer Bee does with their oil pickups. It saves the motor from abuse that you're going to put it through by doing what we're doing right here. You know, switching things up, trying to make more power, adding more fuel, advancing timing. All those things are just putting more abuse on a motor that wasn't designed for it necessarily to be that abused. While I do baby my car, I don't launch it or anything like that. I do put a lot of boost into it and a lot of fuel. I have 1,000cc injectors and a turbo that produces, you know, enough boost to do damage. On the original head gasket, from what I know, an original motor from what I know. However, like I said earlier in the video, the compression numbers in cylinder 3, 2, and 1 speak differently, but I don't have evidence of that, and I can't find markings or anything on the motor that would speak to that. I know this looks so modified. It's, you know, you could never imagine that a year ago it was completely bone stock, but it was, and so it's hard for me to imagine how I would have not noticed things like, you know, small clips that were so difficult to get undone on small things that, you know, wouldn't have been if there had been a motor swap done, or wouldn't have been if the short block had been replaced. But anyway, I'll tap more into that later on. Anyway, as for now, I'm just doing this coolant mod. I'm glad it got here. It's Saturday. So I'll have time to install it. I'm also installing a different downpipe. Got my old NVIDIA over there, and then the Tech one that I found at a B&R junkyard that I'm going to be installing, mainly because it's got a smaller cat. It is catted, but smaller cat than my NVIDIA, so I'll be able to put a little bit more stylistically pleasing dump that I designed at work. So anyway, currently my dump is horribly angled, so it's not very effective. You can see that. Look at that thing. Horribly horribly ineffective. Does not have a priority exhaust flow whatsoever, and it's just, yeah, it struggles. So anyway, wanted to really more or less show you guys the reverse cooling mod, because that's what's important here, and explain it. But what I'd recommend is going to get a Dom Tunes YouTube, watching his explanation of this piece here, and yeah, just kind of helping you wrap your head around it. But I'll go ahead and open it up for you here, just kind of see what it shows. So from what I understand, this fitting, this thread pitch, I don't know what exactly about it, but it wasn't available, so he had them made. I'm looking at that Allen key one there in the block, and I mean, I could have pulled that one and modified that with an AN fitting if I had so chosen, but anyway. And then there is a great little write-up here, cylinder 4 cooling kit with stainless T, kind of write-up. I'm not going to read this to you guys, because quite frankly, I don't want to, but it explains more about it, yeah, it explains how to install it and whatnot. So anyway, I hope this was helpful to you guys. I recommend doing this reverse cooling mod for sure. While I don't know what the results will be, I do recommend doing it. I just want to show you one more time exactly what it's going to do and how. It is going to, let's go over to this block instead. So it's going to go in to this hole here where that Allen bolt is. I'm going to remove that from that side of the head, from the left side head, or sorry, driver's side head. Put this threaded in right there, and then this will then bend up. I'll cut it down to 6.5 inches, I think is about right, but bend it up like so, and that T will then tee off of this piece here, so that I'm allowing coolant to flow out of this head like the coolant flows out of that head. That'll just help everything equalize. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. I also hope this was not something that's offensive to Dominic or anybody else who's putting these cooling mods out nowadays. I know it's a new subject, and I don't want it to, I don't know, I'm not trying to, kind of like tell you guys that you can make this shit, not buy it, whatever, because you should buy it. It's a higher quality piece. I don't think I could really have made that for less than I spent on this thing. It was like $80, worth every penny. Get it on tune, go to that shit, buy it. It'll help your cylinder 4 problems. Anyway, thank you for watching my Subaru DIY channel. Again, my name is Graham. Thank you for joining.